the Supreme Court saved ADC, gave ADC a new lease on life, as it were. But some have rather opined that it's a booby trap. And even Mr. Peter Obi alluded to that there are so many legal landmines, laid ahead for anybody who emerges as either governorship or presidential candidate of the ADC and all of that. So, in a minute or two, Dr. Kenneth, I know it's difficult, but please help us. Can you give us a concise, you're a sound lawyer, your own understanding of the Supreme Court verdict, and if it is true there are legal landmines, ahead for ADC?
First and foremost, there is no legal challenge facing ADC whatsoever now. And I talk as a lawyer. And I talk as an eyewitness that witnessed the Supreme Court judgment. I sat there. And you know what? For a long time now, I am so pleased with the Supreme Court. When I was hearing them give judgment, at a certain point in my heart, I screamed, Justice Chuku the Fopota, are you talking to me? Kayode Sho, am I hearing your voice? I saw the erudition,
the soundness,
the ancient wisdom of those jurists that sat on our bench. They descended on that day, possessed these 5 judges, and they were giving impeccable judgment, sound reasoning. Both the one that dissented on the PDP case, both the one that assented. It was beautiful. You know what they did? They simply said ADC does not have any problem whatsoever. Indeed, they blamed ADC. Why are you in court when you don't have problem? That is when they say that they've dismissed David Mark's case. The issue they dismissed is that Supreme Court is asking ADC, why did you come on appeal when you don't have problem, and when even the judgment of the trial court was in your favor? You don't have anything to appeal about. Go back to the trial court. When an appellate court say you don't have anything to appeal about, what does that mean? There is no case you should be afraid of. That's what it means. And they said, even the trial courts refused to grant the ex parte order. That is, we were not there. We did not put any process, yet the trial court refused to grant the ex parte order. You know why? In my own opinion, the judge saw it and saw that there is nothing to grant. He said, okay, please, let me hear the other party. It was not necessary that we went on appeal. The Court of Appeal that put in that preservatory orders. If you watched my interview, I said the Court of Appeal does not have any power to make any order in any case they have declined jurisdiction. And having even made that preservatory orders, a professor of law who is a son, who is Josh Amopito, the INEC chairman, who ought to be independent and neutral, has no business interpreting preservatory orders. Because they are not orders. They are simply a mere restatement of procedural legal principle. Any lawyer that goes to court knows that you must maintain status quo. You cannot do anything to affect the rest and foist on a court a fait accompli. So I said that order is non-existent. And I said Josh Amopita interpreted a non-existent order, which he just intentionally did it to decapitate the ADC. Now, preservatory orders are meant to be a shield, not a sword. They are meant to preserve the subject matter of the case by Court of Appeal's own enumeration of the brief facts of the case. They say this is a dispute that arose from the leadership of a political party. This is Court of Appeal saying it. And they say preserve the rest. What you ought to be preserving is the rest, which is the leadership of the party, till the trial court gives judgment. So I don't know where Josh Amopita got his, I think from the table of APC. Because for me, it's the victory assured for APC INEC chairman. So, because how can a professor, a court that has declined jurisdiction? So that was exactly what the Supreme Court said. They agreed with that my earlier analysis, that the Court of Appeal overreached itself by giving any order whatsoever. One, it was not the court of first instance where the case is. So, and again, you, the Court of Appeal, you say there is no case before you. So what are you preserving? To tell you that there is no legal challenge. If the Court of Appeal has identified the matter as the internal affairs of a political party, as having to deal with the leadership of a political party, which the Supreme Court has said is the internal affairs of a political party, and the law now, Section 83, subsection 5, say no court has jurisdiction to entertain any matter that affects the internal affairs of the political. So what case do we have? Okay. Chuku's case was thrown away by a trial court. The chairman that went in, what they are contesting is about the congresses, not our leadership. None of them is, yes, not of them is a national leader. So what are we talking about? What we're talking about is that we do not have any case whatsoever, talking from the eyes of the law. Why do you think that Honorable Abegede left? Because he knows that ADC does not have any legal challenge anymore. Their efforts is gone.
But in case,
yes,
the case,
yeah,
the Supreme Court even said go back to the
trial. That's what I'm saying.
Yes. When
the Supreme Court is telling you, you don't have any case, that the case of the trial court is even favorable to you, what are you appealing? Okay. So, Nafiu Bala's case, I'm talking as a lawyer now. Yes. If it has not died, why did Abegede abandon him to go? So he's dead already. We don't have any legal challenge.
We'll look for Honorable Abegede to have.
You think he doesn't have that? When you see that guy, you see that his cap yes, that looks like hammer. He knows when the hammer has descended on an issue.
Let's make progress.
So he knows that the Supreme Court has used that hammer in his head to bury every legal challenge. And again, the lower courts always look at the Supreme Court to know the direction. What the Supreme Court did shows that the policy of the judiciary is that there will not be any one-party state, and that there must be fake contest in a judiciary. So anything that will make the court to preserve democracy, the statute, the canon of interpretation say that courts must interpret cases in a manner that will foster democratic principles, not in a manner that will terminate it. So the lower courts now understand that the policy of the Supreme Court is that political parties should not be destroyed, but should be given life so that there will be competitive democracy. Because any election without competition is not democracy. So they would align with that judgment. Mr. Integrity. And then Mr. Integrity ran away.